Hey there, everybody. It's Carol Maletta from the Parenting 411, where we share information parents need from sources they can trust. I just wanted to hop on here today. I want to be more regular, bring news you can use back. Those of you who used to follow when I was doing this a lot more frequently are accustomed to seeing it in the evening at about 8 o'clock. I'm just not going to be able to do it at that point today. So I just thought I'd hop on a little earlier. Please feel free to chime in the chat or chime in the chat if there's anything that resonates with you that you want to talk about, or maybe even come in and join me on screen. But basically, aside from doing interviews occasionally with people, like I used to do, I'm also just going to come on sometimes and just weigh in on what's going on in the news and how it affects families, how it affects parents, and of course, how it affects children. So this week, I'm not really sure when this incident happened, but I saw something that really kind of disturbed me a bit. And that was where a mom made a video on TikTok where she was cutting her daughter's hair off. Her daughter looked like a teen, young teen, but she said her daughter was too focused on looking cute instead of being smart in school. And so she proceeded to cut her hair off right there on camera. And it just, it just really disturbed me because it's like, I'm not sure how that solves the problem about how her daughter is or is not performing in school. It was embarrassing and demeaning to her child. And, her child was clearly affected. She obviously didn't want that to happen to her. And who knows what a conversation could have done, or a problem solving session to figure out how to get her back on track with her schoolwork. Who knows what that could have done to help? Or at least if there was going to be some consequence, which very well could and should be, it needs to be more relevant to what was going on. What was her hair distracting her from doing well in school? Um, Probably not. So that's the thing about consequences. When you think about positive discipline, there are 4 R's that they ask parents to consider, recommend that you consider when you're trying to think of consequences for certain behaviors. And, while we're on the topic of consequences, there are natural consequences and there are logical consequences. Natural consequences just happen as a result of some action that's taken or not taken, and it's just natural. You go outside without an umbrella, you're going to get wet if it's raining. And that happens to everybody, no matter who you are. And so, logical consequences, on the other hand, are circumstances that parents have to create in order to teach, to help children understand the effects of their actions. And so, in this case, that would have been the incident with her daughter's grades. And so, we talk about the importance of making sure that the consequences meet a certain standard. In positive discipline, we talk about the 4 R's. And so, with consequences, you want to make sure that they are respectful of the child. I'm not sure that videotaping yourself cutting your child's hair and then putting on social media is necessarily respectful of the child. Then the next R is reasonable. Is it reasonable to cut off all her hair because she wasn't doing all of her assignments in school? Is that reasonable? I'm not sure. I am sure about that. No, it's not reasonable. And then is the consequence related? Is it related to the problem? So is her spending time with her hair, does that have to do with her not turning in assignments? I mean, yes, she probably does enjoy doing her hair, but is that exactly what she's doing that's stopping her from doing her schoolwork? There are probably quite a few things. Not just not putting in the time, not setting aside the time, not sitting down doing the assignments. There are other things that other consequences, like maybe she has less screen time. Maybe she just doesn't have privileges. She's not able to go out with her friends until the work is done. putting some boundaries around the way she spends her time to ensure the schoolwork gets done. That would be a related way to handle it. And then does the consequence teach responsibility? Again, not sure how cutting off all her hair on camera for everyone to see is going to teach her to be responsible for her schoolwork. And then another R is that this is an extra R, that it be revealed in advance. Like, did mom tell her? You know, I'm not happy with the way your schoolwork's going. You haven't been keeping up. Your grades aren't looking good. If you don't get those grades together, I'm going to cut your hair off. Did she tell her about that? I mean, and this is an extreme example, but revealed in advance can also look like when you have young children and you go to one of your favorite big box stores and you're there for a particular purpose. Say you're going to go and just get groceries, but your child is running around and wants to go to the toy department. And so revealing in advance what the consequences might be is that, listen, we have to go to the store, we have to pick up groceries, or we have to pick up something specific. And if you all stick with me and we're able to get through that and I'm able to find what I need, then we can use, an extra 10 minutes to go over and see what you want. If I'm not able to get everything that I need without a lot of stress and a lot of hassle, if I'm not able to do that, then we're going to have to go straight home. We're not going to be able to go to the toy department or to look at what you want to look at. You could let them know that in the car or whatever before you get to the store. And then when you get there, if they don't comply, they don't cooperate with what you have said, then the consequence is in effect. And hey, you told them in advance, so they had a choice to make about what their behavior was going to be. As a matter of fact, that's where News You Can Use comes from. That's what I used to talk about with my children. I mean, this is information for you. You can use it for your advantage to decide what you're going to do. But this is the way it's going to be. So that is, how you should address behaviors that are inappropriate. And I just think that there were any number of things that could probably have been done in that situation with the mom who cut her daughter's hair off. So I don't know if there's a part two or whatever to that story, but that was very disappointing and disheartening for me to see. Next up, in terms of another news story, I think, we all heard it yesterday, just totally shocked and many people devastated upon hearing the news about Stephen Boss, also known as Twitch, who was the DJ on the Ellen Show, just hearing that he had died and that he had died by suicide. I mean, it was such a shock for everyone because on the show and just in other programs, he had a lot going on. He was very talented and he was always smiling and always dancing and always energetic, had a beautiful family. And people were just stunned that, first of all, not only that he died, he's a young guy, 40 years old, but then to hear the follow-up that he died by suicide. And so I think it really got a lot of people thinking about how you just never know what people are going through, and that we've got to check in even when things look okay with our friends and our family. It just doesn't hurt to just reach out to let them know that you're there. They may or may not reach out, but just they know that they're seen, that they're cared about, and that they're loved. That just might be enough to get them to think differently about their situation, to not feel hopeless and not feel helpless. And it's really sad that for whatever reason, that he felt that was the way out. And I just definitely pray for his family, and and I pray that his soul has some peace, because obviously he was wrestling with something, and We didn't know. People close to him didn't know. I mean, all of us, most of us that watch on TV, of course, we don't know him, but you just couldn't tell from the way that he presented himself that he was struggling. And that's many of us. That's also parents. So, definitely if you're a parent, you know, kind of assemble a circle of people that that, when you're having a tough moment, you can give them a call, you can send them a text, and they're going to reach out, they're going to respond. And, just maintain a circle of friends, not just when you're going through rough times, but in the good times as well, so that you have that cushion, um, you have that system that you can rely on when things do get rough. And of course, you be that person for other people too. Like, check in on other people as well. Don't assume they have everything all covered. We've got to look out for each other. I mean, these we are in living in some unusually trying times. And one thing about it I'm finding is that more people are being transparent about the struggles they're having. That's something new, that people are just sharing, look, I'm not okay. I mean, this pandemic really, really took us for a loop here. And I mean, and we're still dealing with it, of course, but people aren't okay. And so, there are resources out there, there are free resources out there to get you started, hotlines, there's organizations like NAMI and others. Look into those and take advantage of those, and just recognize that it's okay not to not be okay, to feel like your hands are full and I need some help. And then just get the help, whether it's your faith, your family, your friends. Reach out for the help and think about it ahead of time. Like I said, don't try when you're feeling good and things are going okay. Just kind of think about what your support system could look like. Look around in your circle and think about who you can really count on, and keep that in mind for when you do have challenges. And lastly, this is, we're here at the 10th anniversary, hard to believe, of Sandy Hook, the where the 20 first graders and 6 teachers were killed while they were in school, where children think school is the most fun and probably the safest place on earth for them. And to just think that they could be killed in a place like that. I mean, it's still shocking. And it should have shocked us into action, honestly. And, it's 10 years have gone by, and we really have not changed our posture on gun control as a country. And here we are. Uh, School shootings continue to happen, workplace shootings continue to happen. And, but I will give kudos to the parents of the victims, because they are still fighting to protect children from gun violence. I mean, they certainly mourn their own children, but they mobilize to see if they can prevent this from happening anywhere else. And for all of the school shootings that we have heard of, there have been many that have been prevented because they are bringing awareness to the signs that students or persons might be disturbed, might be distressed. They are threatening violence, and they're urging people to take those threats very seriously. And so, some school districts and some venues have done that and have been able to prevent um, massacres before they could occur. And, I with this group of parents, their first priority was gun reform. I mean, and they knew that that was like a big hill to climb, but they took it on. And, they're making progress little by little. Connecticut, where the incident happened, the school shooting happened, um, they have some of the most sweeping legislation in this country around guns, including bans on assault weapons, as well as a ban on high capacity ammunition. Um, they require a state issued permit to purchase any rifle, shotgun, handgun ammunition. and they have a registry so that they can track offenders who have gun convictions. And as I said, it's having a ripple effect, but it's a small ripple. But other jurisdictions are learning from what they're doing. These parents go out and speak. They've spoken before Congress to to impress upon our lawmakers about how important gun reform is. And so I really applaud their efforts, and I just feel that all of us can get on board, maybe in a different way, or if nothing else, make sure you vote and make sure that the lawmakers in your jurisdiction know that this is important to you. We've got to protect our children, and honestly, we've got to protect our communities. There's just too much gun violence going on, and we have to get back to settling differences and resolving differences. Um, with words and just in more productive ways. I mean, because lives are being treated as just expendable. I mean, it's like it's not a big deal to take someone's life over disappointment. I mean, it's not even self-defense. It's just, disappointment about something that happened. And, people are actually feeling like a viable alternative is to take someone's life. And so we can't make it easy for them to do this with guns. So gun reform is so critical. And it's hard to believe that we're still here in this place overall 10 years later. Because I mean, you would think that that incident, I mean, there had been school shootings before that, but to the idea that these little first graders, the youngest kids, to imagine that happening, you would just think that that would have an impact that, okay, this is the last straw. Like we can't tolerate this anymore. But that hasn't been the response, and I don't know what it will take, but hopefully they will come around. And then the last thing is, and I know we're tired of this, but we've got to remember to mask up, especially when we're going to be around large groups of people during the holidays and beyond, because we've got the triple threat of RSV, COVID, and the flu. So please, I mean, at this point, masks should be in your glove compartment in the car. They should be in your handbag. They should be in your briefcase. You should just always. I mean, like I said, I can't dictate that you should have a mask on everywhere you go in every situation outside of your home. But, have it handy so that, in case you get to a place and it's like, wow, there are way more people than I thought there would be. So let me mask up or something. But we're not out of the woods. Just on COVID alone, we're not out of the woods. So please be smart over the holidays. I hope you enjoy yourself, reconnecting with family and friends, and enjoying good food, fellowship, gift giving, all of that, however you celebrate. But be smart, and please keep a mask handy, and don't be too cool or too fashionable or whatever it is to put it on if you are in a situation, especially when you're around a lot of people and you just don't know where they've been, who they've been around, what kind of situations they've been in. Be smart. It's worth it. And with that, I will let you go. Thank you for tuning in, and I plan to be here, get back here regularly again. I miss you all very much. And until we talk again, remember that it is never too late to be the parent that you want to be. Bye.